Fifth grade into math lesson 10.4. Represent and find the number of equal sized parts. I can divide a whole number by a unit fraction using a visual fraction model. Spark your learning. A nature preserve is 5 miles wide. A ranger divides the entire preserve into 1/3 mile wide sections for different tours. How many sections does a nature preserve have for different tours? So we have our 5 miles wide. And then we have our 1/3 miles wide for each section. How many sections does the preserve have for different tours? So we would go ahead and have a big fraction bar like this, and it'll be compiled 1, 2, 3, 4. Try and get 5 congruent sized shapes, which try your best. 1 hole will be put in each of those. And then they said each of those is broken into 1/3 pieces. So we'd have another box down here, and we'd have our 5 sections. And then we're going to break those sections into thirds. So each of the sections will be in third pieces, so 1/3 in each of those. So if we count how many of those 1/3 boxes we have 15 sections. So that would be our answer. So 15 sections for the different tours. Build understanding. The nature preserve has a 3-mile long trail for bird watchers. The ranger divides the trail into half-mile sections and names each section after a different bird. How many of these sections does the trail have? So you have 3 miles, half-mile sections, and then how many of these sections does the trail have? So complete to describe the situation and model with an expression. The trail is 3 miles long and is divided into half-mile sections. This can be modeled by the expression 3 divided by 1/2. So represent the situation with the number line. So our total is 3, and then they divide it into half-mile sections. So half of 3 is 1.5. And then we'd have half, we'd have 1, then 1.5, then 2, then 2.5, and 3. So how is the dividend represented on the number line? So the dividend is our 3 miles, which is the total. Then how is the divisor represented on the number line? So we divided the number line into half sections. How is the quotient represented on the number line? We ended up, that represents the number of sections. What division equation can you write to interpret your answer in this situation? So our total was 3. We divided it in half sections. So that would also be equivalent to 3 times. And since I did the opposite of division and used multiplication, I have to do the reciprocal of 1/2, which would be 2/1. So that would be 3/1 times 2/1 equals 6/1. So that equals 6. So there are 6 sections. Step it out. Number 2. John's lawnmower uses 1/4 of a gallon of gas each time he mows the lawn. John has 3 gallons of gas in a container. How many times can he mow the lawn before he needs to refill the container? So we have 1/4 of a gallon, 3 gallons, And then how many times can he mow the lawn before he needs to refill the container? So represent the amount of gas in the container. Draw rectangles to show each gallon. So we would have 3 gallons would be our total. Now remember, not always does the total come first in the written equation. Sometimes it is the second part. So you have to make sure you're paying close attention to what the total is and then the parts that it needs to be broken into. So then we need to break each of these 3 into 4 sections because of the 1/4. And so we did that for letter B. Letter C, count the number of equal parts in the smaller rectangles to find the quotient. Write a division equation to model the problem and explain what the quotient means in this situation. So basically, we have up here, we have our 3 boxes that were divided into 4, so that gets us 12 sections. So we need to check that with an equation. So we would take 3 divided by 1/4, which is also equivalent to 3/1 times, and then we do the reciprocal. 1/4 reciprocal is 4/1, which equals 12/1, which equals 12. And then our question was, how many times can he mow the lawn before he needs to refill the container? So 12, so the lawn can be mowed 12 times before the container needs to be refilled. Check understanding. Draw a visual model to solve the problem and then write a division equation. Tim serves 1/5 pound of cat food each day from a 2-pound bag. How many days will the bag be lost? Okay, this is once again where our total is not the first thing listed, so it won't be, so we need to figure that out. So our total is 2, and then they're dividing it each time by 1/5. So our new so we also could draw our model. So we have 2 holes, and then we need to break them each into 5 sections. And we get a total of 10 sections. So this is where we do our equation to check it. So 2 divided by 1/5, which also equals 2/1 times the reciprocal of 1/5, which is 5/1, which equals 10/1, which equals 10. So how many days will the bag last? So 10 days. On your own, write a division equation that represents the visual model. So we have, out of the orangish colored boxes, we have 2 holes. So that would be our total. So 2 divided by, and then each one of those is broken into 1/4 size pieces. And then if we count up how many of those 1/4 size pieces we have 8. Draw a visual model to represent 2 divided by 1/6, then find the quotient. So we have 2 total. So we'll draw 2 rectangles. And we'll break those into 6 pieces. And after we do that, we get a total of 12 sections. Now if we work that out, 2 divided by 1/6, that also equals 2/1 times, and then the reciprocal of 1/6 is 6/1, which gets us 12/1, which we also know equals 12. So our answer is 12. Tyra has 4 liters of distilled water for a chemistry experiment. This is 1/5 of the amount she needs. How much distilled water does she need? So she has 4 liters She only actually needs 1/5 of it. So how much of the distilled water does she need? So she only has 4, and she technically needs to have a whole bunch more. So she has 4, which is the total, divided by 1/5. So that also equals 4/1 times, and then we need to do the reciprocal of 1/5, which is 5/1, which equals 20/1, which also equals 20. So she actually needs 20 liters and not just 4. Draw visual models to complete the equation. So on these, I want to see visual models, and I also want to see the equation worked out. So our total is 3. So we need 3 boxes. And then each one needs to be broken into 2 different parts. So there's a half displayed. So then that also equals, so then we would have 6. So we need to see if we work out our equation that that's what we also get. So 3/1 times, we do the reciprocal of 1/2, which is 2/1, which equals 6/1, which equals 6. So we did get the same answer. The next one, we have 2 boxes that need to be broken into 3 sections for 1/3. So if we work that out, that would also be 2/1 times the reciprocal of 1/3, which is 3/1, which equals 6/1, which equals 6. So how are the 2 equations the same? Explain your thinking. So we both got the same quotient, so both have the same quotient, which quotient means answer to a division problem, which means the dividend is divided into 6 equal parts. So the dividend was our total, ended up either way being divided into 6 different parts.